Alrighty, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, we're going to be ranking Dorothy and REI on the Burst 1 tier list, since they are Burst 1s. We're also going to have an update on the must-have tier list, and also the month is coming to an end, so in a couple of days, we'll have the May tier list, right? Just the overall must-have on your account tier list. I guess that's the same thing, so we'll probably just do that in a couple days. But make sure you guys like and subscribe. Thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers. It means the world to me, of course. And yeah, I guess now we're at 3K. We could probably, hey, let's try to get 3K by the end of the month. We're on a road in here already, so let's go. So obviously we have done a fair amount of testing with Dorothy and with REI. I want to say I did all my testing with Dorothy. I guess besides Gravedigger, Chatterbox, and Blacksmith, but I already know she's going to be great in Blacksmith and Chatterbox. And then Gravedigger should probably be pretty good there too, right? She's a very, very good character, right? She's great in Union Raid. I guess we did try it in Chatterbox, actually, because Union Raid has Chatterbox, so yeah, but very, very good character. And then REI is also the free-to-play character that they gave out. So we'll start off with REI, since she's the first one there. So REI, again, is a character who is a free-to-play character. Now, this is a character who doesn't do damage besides, or only does damage from her normal attack, right? So it's more of an iffy character. This character is a defender, a taunter. You want to use her only just to have a punching bag, essentially, because besides from her normal attack, she's not doing any other sorts of damage, right? So on her first skill, obviously after 60 normal attacks, she gives all allies the charges their burst gauge by 2.47%, which is not bad. And then if the decoy is present, which she does get a decoy on her second skill, restores HP equal to 2.1% of the caster's max HP, which is not bad, right? But that part only affects the decoy. That doesn't affect the team. That only affects the decoy. Now, at skill 2, at the start of the battle, affects self, activates a decoy avatar with 96% of the caster's max HP for 240 seconds. Basically making another character, right? And the enemies can attack into that decoy, and then when the decoy dies, it's just another character gone. But again, that's a decoy that's basically just a 6-man character on there, another punching bag essentially, right? And then also on the burst skill, 20 seconds cooldown, taunts for 5 seconds, and then reduces damage by 14.4% for 10 seconds, and then also affects decoy when decoy exists, recovers 2.27% of the caster's max HP every 1 second for 10 seconds. So that's not bad, right? Of course, that part only goes to REI. So she's not really supporting the team in terms of, I mean, she's only supporting with the charge burst in terms of everybody, right? But she's supporting the team in terms of adding another punching bag, right? Adding another punching bag that will get the job done. Adding another punching bag that will basically just be there to take damage, right? So, honestly, I think I've done my testing with her. Don't think she's going to be all that great in progression. Don't think she's going to be all that useful for bosses, right? Unless you have the damage, right? She's still not going to be that useful because she only taunts for 5 seconds. And essentially, since she's a 20-second burst 1 character, you're either going to have to be forced to use her over another character. So let's say I was running REI and Dorothy on the same team, I would have to pick and choose between REI and Dorothy, right? Which isn't all that bad, but it's definitely a big difference if I do decide to use her burst skill over Dorothy's, right? If that was the case, right? In PvP, this girl shines, though. I think if you have her with Biscuit, she'll be a very, very good character. But in all honesty, really, she only has one use, and that's PvP, right? Honestly, she could go to the lowest of low. She doesn't really have that much use, right? Besides being a punching bag, right? It's not, if it was a punching bag that taunted for longer, I want to say, and didn't have competition, then it would be better, right? And when I say didn't have competition, I mean in the sense that, again, she's a burst 1 20-second cooldown character. So when using her, you're either using her or you're not. And if you're not using her burst skill, she's not really doing anything else for you, I feel like. So I'm honestly going to put REI in C tier. I do think she has a lot of viability in PvP with the decoy, but even still, I want to say you kind of need Jackal or even Biscuit for that extra like push to, you know, keep her up there, right? Biscuit, obviously, when you get to 50% of HP, she is a defender, REI is a defender, so when you get to 50% HP, you have the invincibility for 5 seconds, and that can be activated twice. On top of having the decoy, it's a pretty nasty combination, but I cannot rank her higher because she works better with other characters, right? Or I shouldn't say she really works I want to say she worked. I don't know how to word that part because that didn't really make sense there. She needs Biscuit to like be higher, right? Biscuit's kind of making like Biscuit's adding the other effect that would make her higher, right? She doesn't have that herself, so I can't put her higher. Now Dorothy is, let's just stop playing around. I'm gonna slap her at the top of SS. So after all this time, I truly believe that Burst 1 has finally seen the second ever SS character. I truly only believe that Litter was there first. But Dorothy, we already know why Dorothy is SS. She's a very broken character. She's the only Burst 1 character in the game that can actually be considered as the main DPS. I've seen a lot of videos of her as the main DPS. Not to mention she's also a burst character that she is the only Burst 1 Pilgrim in the game that has a 20-second cooldown. So that activates more burst skill cycles, I want to say, through tower and stuff like that for Pilgrims as well, which is pretty nice as well. So definitely keep all that in mind. In terms of what she does, we know what she does, but just to go over it again, she basically puts the brand debuff on an enemy where all the damage to that branded debuff will actually accumulate and then re-go, like, what's the word? She'll distribute it, I guess, after it's done, right? That's the word I'm looking for. She gets the pierce effect, and then she actually changed her second cooldown, or her second skill, the cooldown from 20 seconds to 2 seconds, and that can happen twice, or that will happen 5 times every 10 seconds, which is pretty good. Not to mention, when she's in the transform spot, and you lower the, or you get the last bullet off, your damage dealt for all allies will increase to enemy parts by a nice number. And then also she lowers the cooldown of burst skills. So she's a very fantastic character, right? I want to say this girl kind of opens up, like, literally is a cheat to the game. She's literally like Litter in a sense where you can use both of them anywhere and they will do just fine. In PvP she'll do great because actually in PvP, if you manage to get her burst skill off and she does die, the burst skill can still be built up, right? Apparently you could still build up the, not the burst skill, well, basically burst skill, but you can still build up the debuff brand, right? The brand debuff. And by doing that, you can actually cheat PvP, right? Because if you do that and then it goes off and it nukes the entire team, you can change the matchup very well, even when she's dead, right? Again, she's the only burst one that's really considered a DPS here. Obviously, we have Miranda, we have Volume, but they're not even close to the damage Dorothy can do. Dorothy does times 20 the damage, right? Dorothy is literally doing 30, 40 million. I've seen pic screenshots and my own testing too. Dorothy's in the 20, 30 million, 40 million range of damage as a burst one support. That's the one thing they got to remember. Dorothy is a support. So the fact that she's able to do that is very insane. I do want to say, for me personally, in terms of what I want from a character, I feel like Dorothy provides me more personally over Litter, but obviously everybody's gonna have their own opinion. I would just prefer to use Dorothy over Litter because I think having that extra massive damage on top of what the other characters that can do massive damage for burst 2 Guilty, burst 3 Scarlet, Modernia, you know, Laplace, Alice, Snow White, Maxwell, whoever you want it to be, right? I think her being that last staple for a full DPS team can really just obliterate the game. So that's my honest opinion about her. I do want to say she is the best burst 1 character in the game right now. In terms of best character, I could also say that she is the best character. I want to do a bit more testing, right, with her compared to Modernia, and then also people are already doing it with Scarlet for me because I don't own Scarlet, but I want to do more testing just to see what I feel more comfortable with, right? Would I say I want her as #1 simply because she, in terms of what she does for herself and what she does for the team, rather than just damage as the burst one. I think that's what I would consider the best character in the game. But obviously, I need to see if it's very consistent. As of right now, it seems very consistent. And she's nerfed apparently, right? She's bugged or something like that. So that's even more scary because she's supposed to be doing more damage than what she's doing right now. So keep that in mind, people. She's a supporter, by the way. But yeah, this is going to be my burst 1 tier list. You guys let me know if you agree with it or not. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Later. Peace. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Bye.